Dr. Eli is back in the house. The humidity, the hot weather, being Monday doesn't bother him. Yes, Dr. Eli is here. Hey, we want to take your phone calls. Relationship expert, relationship advice. Dr. Eli has it for you. 502-276-2118. 502-276-2118. Got an interesting email we're going to read in a minute about a parent walking in on some teens having sex.
Uh-oh.
Woo! Curious your advice on that. But when KidSafe was on, we were mentioning in the green room that computers can put stresses on relationships, not the challenges of fixing them, but I guess what people are doing on the computers.
Yeah,
how does that
there's not
go?
a week that goes by in my office where somebody doesn't come in, a couple or an individual, where their partner found out about somewhere they went online or someone they talked to, and it causes problems. So best case, honesty is always the best policy. Don't go anywhere on the computer, whether you're talking to your children or you're talking to your spouse. Don't go anywhere on the computer. You don't want them to know you went to.
Well, wait a minute. So your husband is online and they're going to go see a picture of whatever. If it's not porn or something negative like that, they're going to a sports site or they're going to wherever they're going. Why is it, what kind of problems what kind of sites are you talking about? Or is it sending emails to a female acquaintance if it's a guy, or is it going to a porn site? What's causing the stress in relationships?
I think the big problems come in, yes, porn sites, gambling sites, but also Facebook. Here I've reconnected with somebody that maybe I knew before I met my wife, and she's attractive, and I didn't tell my wife, so my wife is breezing through the Facebook, and she says, "Who's that?" And this kind of scenario, it happens every week in my office, and you got to be transparent with your partner, and if there's nothing wrong with it, you shouldn't feel bad about telling them where you're going and where you're at. You also don't want to spend too much time on the computer, take away from that relationship.
Dr. Eli is here taking your phone calls. If you have a relationship question, maybe you know someone is cheating, or maybe it's rocky after 20 years of marriage. 276-2118. He is here. Let's talk a little bit about your practice and what you do. You're a licensed marriage and family therapist, assistant professor at the University of Louisville. You cover family therapy, a little bit of everything.
Yeah, I like the triple threat. I like to write about couples, to teach and train therapists, and also maintain a practice where I see majority of families and couples from the systemic, holistic perspective. Again, so we're looking from a health, not a deficit perspective.
And you see at the bottom there, it says email questions and visit Dr. Eli's website. So there it is right there, www.elikaram.com. Just email him, call him confidentially. Now the emails he gets, he uses last names or he uses towns, and he's got the approval of them. So let's go. We got the mailbag in here. We appreciate your emails to Dr. Eli here on Louisville Live this morning. Let's take a look at Mary. Mary is writing us this morning on Louisville Live this morning with Dr. Eli. I'm getting married next spring, and my church wants me and my fiance to go on a couple's weekend religious retreat. I would like to learn about our compatibility, but I don't want a religious slant on it. What should I do? I think a lot of churches, they want you to go through, if you're going to get married in their church, many of them want you to go through some type of seminar, marriage counseling, or a course.
Right, especially the Catholic Church has a pre-Cana where they usually have a standardized package or curriculum they want you to go through, or they have, like a mentor couple. But what I like to say is, if you don't want that religious thing, you don't have to. And marriage education, marriage preparation, relationship education is different than traditional counseling or therapy. And that just happens next week. I'm going to bring my colleague, Dr. Becky Antle from the Kent School, and we run a lot of relationship education in the community in West Louisville and also in our private practice. So we're going to talk about that a lot next week. So Mary, if you stay tuned, you'll get a lot more information on that next week. But there's lots of options out there outside of your church if you don't want the religious slant.
Hey, we're taking emails and your phone calls. You can, of course, go to Dr. Eli right there anytime on his site. But we're taking your phone calls. If you have a relationship concern or a challenge, or there's tension in the home, 502-276-2118. Awkward in Anchorage. This is an email that was sent to us, and we appreciate your emails. This is an interesting one. I walked in on my 16-year-old son having sex with his girlfriend last weekend. He's a good boy, never gets into trouble, and has good grades. I'm a single mom and don't know how to talk with him about this or even how I feel about it. Things have been very uncomfortable between us the last few days. Is this something I should allow? If so, does this make me a bad mom? I'm going to tell you what Dr. Craig says is, no, you shouldn't allow a 16-year-old to have sex in your own home.
But really? Well, let's play the other part of it, because this gets triggered a lot. Awkward in Anchorage. That's an interesting email. I appreciate that. But it triggers what it was like for you when you first started becoming sexually active. So how you felt about that. And it's an opposite sex parent. There's no male in the house, it sounds like. So if your son is normally, he's doing well at school, you're proud of him, you need to acknowledge the situation. Because I think to go and to not acknowledge that or just have this weird silence, I don't think that's good for the relationship.
You need to talk about it.
Yes, you have to talk about it, but I don't think you can come out with too hard a slant. Obviously, you have your own, people have their own moral and religious obligations, but you need to talk about it and to assess what was going on. Who is that person? Is that your son's girlfriend? Is it just random person? And before you rush to judgment, kind of be comfortable with the situation and be able to just understand what was going on with your son, because you don't want to make an awkward situation even more awkward.
Well, I'm going to beat up on Ricky Jones later. That's coming. He is coming into the house.
That would be a fun segment.
When Ricky comes on, I can tell you about Ricky. But here's my thought.
Oh, there he is.
Ricky just got in. Okay, a single mom, a 16-year-old having sex in the house. How did it get to that far? How did it get that far where he felt with his mom he can get away bringing a girl into the house and having sex while she's around or there?
I mean, who knows? The parental supervision. Maybe mom is out. We don't know anything else about mom. Maybe she's out working on her own relationships, and she trusts her son to do a lot. We don't know who else is at the home. And as you said, he's been a good boy. He hasn't let her down. So you know, we don't know more. But I would not rush to judgment and over catastrophize this, especially if you have a good relationship. You know, a lot of times when there's a tear in a relationship, if you can talk about it and repair the relationship, whether it be husband, wife, mother, son, it comes back stronger.
Well, if you have a comment about Dr. Eli, he seems to be taking a little bit more laid-back attitude. I think it's just totally wrong, but that's just.
Well, we'd be having a different conversation, I think, too, if this was a teenage daughter and you walked in on your teenage daughter. I think people would think differently about that. And there's somewhat of a double standard when it comes to teenage boys and teenage girls being sexually active, I think.
Well, go to www.elikaram.com and let them know, is it acceptable for a 16-year-old boy to have sex with a girlfriend or a female partner or acquaintance under the roof of his mom? Just email him. He'll show them to us. Hey, we want to talk a little bit more about some of the things you work with here. Low intimacy couples. You solve problems for a lot of the couples out there. Self-esteem in couples, communication, blended families. Those are two families coming together. I mean, it's not easy out there these days.
No, there's these expected kind of life transitions, and people catastrophize, or they worry about what's happening. If you come in at these expected times for these preventative checks, you know, a big problem doesn't become, or a little problem doesn't have to become a big problem. So it's a good thing. It's not something that should have a stigma going in to see someone like me or another licensed marriage and family therapy. It should be a good preventative thing at times.
Dr. Eli is here with us every week. There's his number, 749-8825. If you want him to come out and speak to your group about the challenges couples face or teens face, he'll be more than happy to do that. You just got to give him a call. He has a very busy schedule. But next week, he'll be back taking phone calls. And good having you with us here. And get out there and beat the heat.
All right. Take care. Miss Julie.
Yeah, well, Julie's off for a few days. But, hey, when we come back, I'm going to ask Ricky Jones, is it okay for a 16-year-old child there he is right there, to be having sex in his mom's home? I think I know Ricky's answer. We'll be right back.